Let's talk about why more women are choosing to become celibate. And I know that there technically is a difference between abstinence and celibacy, but in this video, I'm going to be using the terms interchangeably.
So I've been celibate for 4.5 years now. And everyone has their reason for why they become celibate. But my reason was I had a very unhealthy relationship with sex. What do I mean by that? I couldn't just have sex with no strings attached. I couldn't just have sex and get up and leave it. Like, oh yeah, that was just sex. Every time I had sex, there was something taken out of me. Spiritually, mentally, emotionally, I felt like I was less than with each person I had sex with. I felt like my worth was dwindling the more people I entertained and the more times I had sex. Because honestly, I wasn't having sex for pleasure, I was having sex for approval. And many times it was my drug. It was something that I used to make myself feel better because I don't do drugs, I don't smoke, I really didn't drink much back then. So that was my reason for stopping.
There are 5 reasons I decided to be single and celibate for the last several years. Hi, my name is Talia. We love a list over here. Make sure you're following for daily lists. And I thought this would be a fun list to do because I had my reasons. I have my reasons. Number one, COVID. I just did not want to get sick. I did not want to catch COVID. I had gotten out of a relationship in early 2019, and I had quit the dating apps later in 2019. And I had every intention of getting back out there and being in the streets in 2020, dating again. But COVID happened in early 2020, and I did not want to put myself in a position to catch the thing. Okay, even a year ago this time, we were just reeling back from Omicron. So for me, from a health and safety perspective, I did not want to put myself in a position to catch the thing, to pass it on to other people. When you're dating people, you need to have a reasonable expectation that they're also dating other people. You cannot count on everyone being as cautious as you are. So I was good. I was good. I said, until we're really done with this thing, and we're not even really done, but we're done enough, there was no need. There was no need. There was no rush. Number two, I needed a break. As I said in 2019, went through a really bad breakup, and I also became incredibly frustrated with online dating. So I just needed a break. I needed to step back. I needed to regroup. I needed to learn some things about myself. I needed to resolve some things within myself. So I took a break. I took a break. Number three, why the hell not? Why the heck not? Why not? Why not step back? Why not take the break? Um, you know, I'm old, but I'm not that old. I'm 33. I don't have a strong desire to be a mother. So I don't really have, the biological clock or issues around fertility to worry about. It's only been a couple of years, honestly. It hasn't been that long. 3 years went like this. Okay, time is a construct. So why not? Why not? Why not? And according to the girls, y'all are going through it in the dating scene. So am I really missing anything? Have I missed anything? Tell me if I've missed anything. Number four, I wanted to focus on other things. I wanted to prioritize other things. I didn't want men and dating to be another thing that I had to worry about. I wanted to focus on buying my house, and my career, and my hobbies, and my friendships, and my healing, and my therapy. So I took time for that. Number five, my life isn't terribly different then than it is now. I've only had 2 boyfriends in my life. I'm not a serial dater. I'm not a serial monogamous. Dudes is not banging down my door. My phone is typically dry. So what's the difference between then and now?
All of these reasons are 100% valid. If you do not feel like you want to give your time, your effort, your energy, your body just out there, you have that right. And to be honest, it's not really that hard. The less you do it, the less you want to do it. So go for it. I've had so many single seasons in my life, and they were some of the best times of my life. I got to really focus on who I was, who I wanted to be. And if I was dating back to back to back, I don't think I would be the person that I am right now. And I really love who I am right now.
Can you imagine not getting any D for almost 2 whole decades as a 39-year-old woman? Yeah, let's talk about it. It's no surprise that the number one question that I always get asked whenever this topic comes up is, girl, how? And I'm always tempted to respond with, well, I just don't do it. But I understand that when people ask me that question, what they're really saying is, I don't think I could ever not do it. So, how are you managing to not do it? A lot of people just cannot fathom the idea of living and existing without experiencing D activities every now and then. And as someone who has previously been involved in D activities and enjoyed it, hello, I totally understand where you're coming from. I was once at that place, but now I'm over here, almost 19 years deep with no D, living a pretty normal and healthy life. And most importantly, experiencing the benefits and the blessings of being obedient to God's word and will in this area of my life. Now, I know obedience isn't easy, and for those who are struggling to abstain from D activities but desire to, sis, I got you. Stay tuned for more.
A lot of people always ask me why I've chosen to remain a virgin, especially because it's not for religious reasons. And a lot of people can't wrap their head around the fact that some people would just want to make this decision without being forced to make the decision. And because I've decided to share a bit of my INTJ journey of being an INTJ woman on TikTok, I thought I would share how that has actually factored into me making this decision and how it is not as spiritual as it is logical. So the real reason I decided to stay a virgin until I get married is because I wanted to get married before I had children. And growing up, so many people told me that that might not be a possibility. One of the things that people always used to say to me was, oh, well, you can't always control things. Sometimes, you end up getting pregnant first and then you get married. And to me, that is not something that just ends up happening. It's a conscious decision you make. Unless something heinous happens, of course, but you are making the decision to sleep with someone prior. If you don't want to have a child before you get married, you just don't have sex before you get married. Now, this isn't because I'm delusional and I think that if you get married first and have children, you're going to be together forever and everything's going to be perfect. But this is the way that I make sure that I am staying intentional about who I have children with. If I wouldn't marry you, you do not deserve to have your legacy continued with contribution from me. I think one thing about INTJs is that we are actually very selfless. Like when we think about our life and the things that we're doing, we love others so much that we want to make sure that we're intentional about the choices that we make. And although I know I'm my own person and I want to do things that make me happy, I know that my life is not my own in the sense that the decisions that I make affect other people. It doesn't make sense to me to think about being in a romantic relationship with someone without factoring in the fact that this person can be the father of my children. This person can be the grandfather to my grandchildren. Like, of course, they'll be ours, but I'm making this decision of what is going to be best. So when I'm making this decision, I have to make it in that kind of protective way where I actually focus on who would be coming and who would be impacted by us deciding to be together. So in order for us to really make this decision as clearly and as intentionally as possible, I have to make sure that anything that could be distracting is off the table, which includes having sex before marriage, because that can blur things. Like I see it happen to so many people. Prevention is better than cure. It's not on the table until we're married. So that's really the core of it. It's developed into more elements and more factors, but that's how it all started. It was because I wanted to make sure that I'm super intentional about whoever I choose to have children with, and I don't want to accidentally have children with someone that I'm not sure that I would even marry. So marriage first, babies next, and God needs to wrap this on up real quick because your girl's growing up.
I completely respect her decision and I understand why she has the viewpoint that she does. And we know that choosing who you have a child with is one of the most significant decisions that we will ever make. And it is not a decision that we should make lightly. And it is not something that we should make just because we're in love. Is this a good man? And does this man have the qualities to become what a good father is? And sometimes we might not even be the best judge of what a good father is because maybe we did not have a good father figure growing up. Ask your male relatives, what do you think about such and such? And that's another thing too, is if we don't have that community and we don't have like our big uncles and our fathers and our big brothers to say to us, hey, that's a red flag. Hey, I don't think you should be dealing with this person. Then a lot of us can slip into making some really life-changing, long-term, never-ending decisions.
I've recently been talking about the fact that I'm kind of swearing off relationships for a little while, but it's not because I have no faith in love and it's never gonna happen again. When I'm so sad, nobody ever does me right, blah, blah, blah. It's not all that shit. It's actually more of the fact that I am just not in the emotional or mental position to be responsible for somebody else's needs in a relationship. And if I'm not ready to offer or meet someone's needs that I fall for in a relationship, I shouldn't be in a relationship with them. And it's really that simple. It's really that simple. If you're not ready to manage a relationship, don't get into one. For that reason, I'm not dating. I'm not looking around. I'm not interested in dating. I'm not going to meet up with anyone. I'm not going to go on dating apps. I'm not going to entertain conversations with people that I find attractive unless it's really just friendly. Because I'm not in the mental or emotional position to offer anything to a relationship. And it is not right for me to get into a relationship when I'm not ready to meet anyone's expectations. And emotionally, I can't handle someone having expectations of me. In a relationship, that's normal. But right now, that's just not my vibe. That's not how I just can't do it. I can't do it, okay? And if I'm not ready for that, it's wrong of me to entertain romance with people, even if I'm open and honest about this. I would rather leave no room for anyone to get hurt, including myself, because I'm low-key a lover girl. Okay? And after what I just went through, I just need time to heal. I need time to recover. And I need time to honestly find all the things again that I love about myself and highlight them.
I think the dating market would be such a better place if more people were this honest with who they are and their emotional capacity to not only nurture themselves, but also to be a good partner to someone else. There are too many people who are running around just going from person to person and they have no idea who they are. They have no idea what it truly means to be a partner. And so when that other person needs some form of maybe emotional security from you, or they're being vulnerable with you, you are not able to give them what they need. And that ends up hurting that other person. And that's why we have so many bad experiences in dating, because people just date because it's something fun to do and it's something to do to pass the time and it's what everybody else is doing, when we literally have the choice to not do it.
I have officially been celibate for 2 years. Let's talk about it. I'm not going to say it's hard, but I'm also not going to say it's easy. But I will say ovulation whip my ass every single month. Like a dog in heat that needs to get put out. Every month I had that message typed out. Please, please, one more time. But I never sent it, okay? And that's the real growth. My reason for becoming celibate, it was simply just to get over a situationship that got dragged out way longer than it needed to be. And sex was the only thing keeping it together. It's the only time we talked. So I thought, cut the sex off, you cut the man off. And it worked, right? So sometimes when ovulation really be taking me there, I just be thinking, go get a new body. Just go get a new man. As long as you don't go back to the past, you're good. But then I remember, I'm just not a casual sex situationship type of girl. That's why that situationship got dragged out for so long, because I fall in love. I picture our life together. I plan our wedding. You become my person. So I made a promise to myself to never do it again. And I told God, I'm okay with waiting. I'm okay with waiting however long it takes until you're ready for me to meet my person. Be 2 years in, and let's not drag it though. Like, let's wrap it up sooner than later. But I'm being patient because I'm not going through that again. I don't know. I feel like I should buy myself a gift or something. What y'all think?
I didn't choose celibacy. Celibacy chose me. No, I'm kidding. I chose celibacy because I needed to choose myself. I made the decision because the last time, 2 years ago, that I was in interaction with somebody, it made me feel even emptier than I've ever felt before. And there were many times where I was empty and I felt like a product. I just felt like my body was being used, and I would feel empty and disgusting and unfulfilled. About 80% of the time, I wasn't even being pleasured regardless. So I chose to get on my celibacy journey because I was like, babe, we gotta love ourselves. We got to know our worth. We got to stop attracting certain men that we're gonna put on a pedestal and we're going to allow to give us the bare minimum, to treat us with bare minimum energy. Of course, it stemmed from the daddy and mommy issues that I really had to work hard to heal through, needing that outside validation, needing to feel wanted, right? And listen, I'm a big advocate for being celibate because you also need to recognize how sacred your body is, how powerful it is. And you shouldn't just allow anybody access to it. And the way that you learn about your body is so magical. The more that you begin to be in tune with your body, because before I was celibate, I was completely disconnected from my body. I didn't see and recognize how my mind, heart, body, and soul were all disconnected from each other. And it made me feel unaligned. My body was just doing what I thought my mind wanted it to do, if that makes sense, or my heart wanted it to do. Or I was like using my body as this product, which it isn't, as this object. And the way that I have reclaimed my worth and my power through my celibacy journey has been so empowering. So I recommend everybody to be on a celibate journey.
I agree with her. When you develop a certain type of relationship with yourself, you do not have the desire to let any and anyone touch you, much less being with you in one of the most intimate ways that you can with another human being.
After going celibate, I was married within the next year. I think God rewards obedience. I think He rewards those who commit to His word and submit to His will. By practicing celibacy, it led me to the exact marriage I journaled about a year prior. Celibacy is a game changer.
I've been celibate for almost 3.5 years, and although I'm starting to lose hearing in my left eye, there are so many amazing things I've learned throughout my journey. A lot of people still look at me like, oh my God, I can't believe you haven't done it in 3.5 years. But to be honest, as time goes on, it just gets that much easier. You'll realize that not many people have much to offer other than their third leg. And although that third leg would be great at some point, if you are not mentally arousing me with just how ambitious you are, things that we can talk about, life, having that mental, spiritual, and emotional connection first, there's no point. Like, people don't realize that when you have sex with somebody, you are transferring energy. It doesn't matter if they have good energy, bad energy, anxious energy, terrible, evil energy, whatever energy they have, regardless of what you have, you will feel. And that's why soul ties are a real thing. That's why you start to go a little bit crazy after you have sex with somebody. Energy transfer is real. Those hormones being released are real. A lot of people don't realize that, like, once you're out of a relationship and you jump into another one without actually sitting there with yourself and working on yourself, you are taking that unhealed version of you into your next relationship and repeating the exact same pattern. Yep. Until you genuinely sit with yourself and work through your shit, how can you become the best person for your man if you are not the best woman for yourself first?
6 years single, 13 months celibate. I know it sounds like a long time, but bear with me. So when I was just beginning my single journey, I ended my relationship with my biological mom. We had a very codependent relationship. It was where I learned all my tendencies from. And when I ended our relationship, I didn't want to be dependent on anyone. Also, it was the first time that I was single in 5 years. I needed to discover who I was without a partner. Speaking of, I often found myself making excuses and avoiding sex altogether. I didn't enjoy sex. What I later discovered on my journey was I couldn't enjoy the act because of all the suppressed trauma that I had experienced at a young age that I was not wanting to acknowledge. And that blocked me. It confused how I showed up in my sexuality, in my sensuality, and I didn't know what my needs and my desires and my wants were. And I also didn't feel safe to verbalize that with a partner. And lastly, the reason why I stayed single for 6 years was because 2 of those years I was traveling the world solo. This was an intentional decision that I made because I wanted that experience for myself, and I wanted to be able to say that I could do it.
Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments section below. Have you been celibate? Are you currently celibate? Let me know what you think. Thank you so much for watching today's video. As always, I love you so much, and I'll see you in the next video.